Kuzambala and welcome to Storytellers of Drukyul. I'm Junior Tandin, your host. Today with me I have Tandin Sonam, a man who wears multiple hats. He's an actor, he's a lawyer, and he's an entrepreneur. And through his many professions or interests, he tells a lot of stories. And to share with us some of these stories, I have the man himself with us. Welcome to Storytellers of Drukyul, Tanji. First of all, how are you?
I'm good, and thank you, Cho, and thank you to the whole team of BBS for having me.
Of course, we're excited to have you, and actually we are really excited to hear how one man is capable of filling in a lot of shoes. Like I mentioned in my intro, you are an actor, you are a lawyer, and you're an entrepreneur. How do you manage to do that?
In Bhutan, measuring the population and the way things are, I think we have to pursue a little bit of everything, and thus I'm pursuing these many professions. It's a little bit hard at times, but if we plan properly, and I think if we plan properly, you can get things done.
So if I were to make you choose which one's your favorite role to play, in the sense, would you call yourself, what's the first description? Would you be an actor? Would you be a lawyer or an entrepreneur? Which one would you go for?
Definitely actor first, and lawyer, because like I studied law for 5 years in Pune, and I couldn't let my parents down, right? I can't be selfish. Well, I'm pursuing acting, which I love, and if I keep aside what my parents wanted me to do, I think it wouldn't be fair, right? So that's why I'm pursuing law. I'm running a small private legal firm, and then entrepreneur, because I have intentions to help La. And with the little that I have, I believe in sharing, but I'll have to have a little, and for that I need to pursue entrepreneurship. So that's why first acting first, but acting first.
When people think of Tandin Sonam as an entrepreneur, they're wondering what business. Of course, there is the reality show, right? And do you is that it, or do you have other businesses that you take care of?
Thank you, La. Well, Belden Drupa Show, talking about Belden Drupa Show, we're coming this November or December. So Belden Drupa Show is there, where it involves more than 40-50 employees while we are actually pursuing it. And then, of course, real estate. I am the legal advisor, as well as we're like certain areas we're like partners with Bhutan Real Estate, my firm, and the legal firm, as well as now we're planning to come up with certain stores in Thimphu City, but we're right now contemplating. And then like there are other things that we do that I can't speak out publicly right now. Of course, very much legal, but with time, with time, I'll utter it out.
Tandi, usually when in the film industry, what happened in the past is that the actors had to have a full-time job because they couldn't pursue acting as a full-time career. However, now the situation has changed, and changed for good, I think, because there are actors who are pursuing acting as a full career. However, you have you started off with acting,
yes,
and now you have branched off to being a lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Do you think you're going the other way? You're like changing the channel of the river, the course of the river, because while others are focusing on acting, you have basically spread yourself to cover other bases too.
It is of paramount importance that I make sure that what's like primary to me, like, and then secondary and tertiary. So like for me, acting is my
still number one.
Yeah, it's number one. It's on top. I mean, like, so when I distinguish acting and then like entrepreneurship and my legal initiation, so I always put acting first, and then like when I have time, and it again comes back to planning. So I plan things out, but acting always first.
Tandi, the field of acting has become very competitive, and it's good news for everybody, for the viewers who get to watch the films, and even for the actors. How do you feel about the current situation? How has it changed the level of competition amongst actors?
Oh, I think it's healthy competition. Well, from my side, it's always been healthy competition. Because like, be it success or failure, when I'm succeeding, I'm like, I always give the credit to Kyunchusum and Myeongadar Moche and my parents, my family, my friends, my employees. So I always credit my success to this lot. So, and when I succeed, there is no generation of ego that I did it. Because you never succeed alone. Mushla. We always are successful collectively. So that way, even if I have competition, it's always healthy that I want to do better. The intention is there, the enthusiasm is there, but it's like I want to put the other person down. That's never there. And just like success, failure, if I fail, be it in the past, present, or in the future, I'll never fail alone. There are so many causes and conditions attached to it. For instance, bad timing, maybe good competition, maybe bad employees around you, and bad advices that I'm getting. So I fail collectively. So when I fail, I'm not down. I don't let myself be drooling all over the floor. It's like I pick myself up saying that I failed collectively, so I'm not devastated. I get up back quickly. So that's it.
See. That's a beautiful thought, Tandi. You've mentioned good competition, and I'm going to be very, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to ask you, who do you see is currently doing really well, as from actors? Who do you see as healthy, good competition?
All. To be honest, like in Bhutan, there are only a handful of actors and actresses, and a handful of lawyers and entrepreneurs. I cannot compete with anybody right now because like I'm just starting right now. And when it comes to film industry, there are a lot, and I'll have to be diplomatic right now because I don't want to offend anybody, because like if I say one or two is my competition, another 8 will be offended, right?
True.
So for me, if there are 10, all are my competition because like and what I'm good at, somebody's not. What the other person is good at, I'm not. So yeah, all in the film industry.
You have been reigning as the the top actor for so long, and what do you credit that to? How did you stay at the top for so long?
With the blessings of Kyunchusum, definitely. I am a person of God, and I think that is the roots of all Bhutanese actually, if we dig deep. And of course, Kyunchusum and His Majesty always come first. I think if we really analyze things properly, and if we study our earth and the number of countries and the geographical structures, well, everything, I think to be born as a Bhutanese, I think we must have accumulated tons of merit to be born as His Majesty's citizen. So whenever I succeed, it's always Kyunchusum, His Majesty, and my family and my friends.
But I'm not going to let you leave with that answer.
Sure,
I want to dig deeper. There must
right.
be some qualities, some strategies that you use, and I'm talking about as an actor.
All right, sure.
You've reigned on top.
Okay.
There must be something, some skills that you would like to share with us today.
Okay, technically and rationally, let me get to it. Of course, definitely hard work, enthusiasm, patience, and I think you need some innate attributes to yourself. I think some things you can't
hone, you can't practice.
You can't practice. You can't bring something on the surface. It needs to be innate. So yeah, I think these are the attributes.
I see. Tandi, your life, it wasn't the same before, and you have said it in so many interviews. You mentioned the word patience, and that just like brought me, it reminded me of how Tandin Sonam was before. Now this journey is spiritual and religious, from the Tandin Sonam that started off in the film industry to Tandin Sonam that I'm talking to right now. It's beautiful. You've talked in a few interviews. can you, if you wouldn't mind sharing us, how did that journey of this rash, young, hot-blooded Tandin Sonam to this wise man who practices patience and kindness in his daily life?
I think it's all about reflecting upon yourself, because in this day and age, I think people are conditioned to judge other people rather than judging yourself. And every night before you sleep, rather than judging other people, I think if you reflect and see whether you have good qualities or bad qualities, the next day you increase your good qualities, next day you decrease your bad qualities. I think it's self-reflection, the inner journey. Meditation, but there is a different sort of connotation to meditation. People somehow have some sort of like they don't want to like talk about it, or they don't want to pursue it because it's for like the monks. Actually, it's not. So synonym for meditation would be mind training. So I think mind training, I think, is the key to true happiness or patience.
Has it been an easy journey?
No, not at all, not at all. But it's been difficult, and then like I'm not trying to sound too philosophical. Maybe with I think Cho brings out the philosopher in me. But I think ani lyse me mabal ani gachlo methodology ke lylu go. So difficulty is like that. Especially in terms of mind training.
I see. So
I think we need it. I think we need it.
Until you have difficulty in practicing patience, you aren't attaining it.
True.
Someone has to tempt you, test your patience. You can't be in a calm environment and be like, oh, I've acquired patience.
True.
You have to go through difficult times for you to realize that, okay, you know what, this is testing my patience, but I know better and I'm going to be patient.
Truly.
Tandi, so what have you been up to of late?
Very important question. Thank you. Well, now Tandibida, your friend, the most one of the most happening actresses in Bhutan, along with others, of course. Tandi and me were coming on the big screen after 5 long years, and this film, which I directed for the first time, officially registered with FAB. It's my first debut direction.
Wow.
So it's called Guru Rinpoche Keno, and yeah, it's going to be out this end of July in Troa Theatre, Chanjiji. Please do support la.
All right, so this is Guru Rinpoche Keno. What is this film about?
Well, okay. There are 5 poisons, right? It's like greed, jealousy, aversion, attachment, anger.
Ignorance?
Ignorance, of course. Ignorance is there. And so I'm playing 5 characters. I'm playing Desha, Shedan, Timo, Ngage, Tado. And literally I'm playing the demons, the inside, the demon inside, like 5 characters, literally. And Tandi is playing the opposite. She is like full of compassion, kindness, patience, all the things that we discussed earlier. But at the end of the film, like it's about a beautiful amalgamation between good and bad, and showing people that what's important, one. Second one, it's about equanimity. Guru Rinpoche and Jabdu Rinpoche. Different times, different forms, but they are the same la.
Essentially, yeah.
Chora the se we get ngacha Ugin Guru Rinpoche da Pedro wa Jabdu Rinpoche de chora the so men sela tani chuitemi gi longin chi la Guru Rinpoche kano de ziba jana sai.
Wow. You and Tandipida, the top 2 actors of the country, coming together after how long?
5 years la. 5 years. And
what was the film that you acted in previously together?
Drukyul Gyalmo la. Drukyul Gyalmo.
Okay, all right.
Sing Lem, Say Love Me, Drukyul Gyalmo, and after 5 years now, Guru Rinpoche Keno la.
Wow. Okay, so this is exciting news for all the Tandi lovers. And there was actually a time when you two, especially starting off Singlem, right?
Yes, la.
It was one of the biggest hits.
Yes, la, yes.
Do you have, what expectations do you have from Guru Rinpoche Keno?
Cautiously optimistic, of course, without any ego involved. And I always tell my producer, with the outcome that is finally on the table, I think all of us are way like content. We're really happy with the product. but how you make money and how it really does well all depends upon a collective karma. So I was telling him, we've given our best, now just let's leave it to the audience.
Tandin, in the beginning, you gave out commercial hits, and it was usually romantic. There were all the ingredients for a blockbuster. However, there's a gradual shift, and your work in films, your movies are reflective of your inner journey, I'm seeing a lot of that. Will the audience continue to see similar movies, or will you be experimenting other subjects too?
I'll definitely pursue it with the metal path. Nagi Sondozume. Commercial touch we really need, because like we'll have to cater to the needs of our audience. But having said that, I think we can inculcate the inner journey and the Buddhist touch to it. Because like, let me be very candid with you. It takes like 35-40 days to wrap up with our shoot. It's like 35-40 days of hard work. And whether we inculcate something good or whether we don't, we'll have to go through enduring 35-40 days of hardship. So while we're doing it, why not inculcate something where, not just commercially, of course commercially it's of paramount importance and we'll have to make money for us to sustain, but why not inculcate something which might affect somebody's life in the most optimistic manner. So I always tell my producers, nimsum chu jipchu kaujin jegobet kaujebe tamalu tempada dorudulo pentavi long inchirasoge silavila.
Wow. Now this is not news to anybody, but Tandin, who's an actor, a lawyer, and an entrepreneur, has also written songs, and his one particular song has touched so many hearts because it had rightly expressed the passionate sentiments that Bhutanese people felt, and this is the song Koopa, right?
Yes.
How did you manage to do that? How did you come up with such beautiful lyrics, Tandin?
Thank you, la. This is Koopa is very, very close to my heart, la. To be honest, the highest accolade an actor or a public personality can acquire, I think, is Oscars. But for me personally, this Koopa, when I received a handwritten note from Yeltsin, acknowledged by His Majesty, that is bigger than Oscars to me. So it's like, I think I cannot ever now make the same impact as I did with Koopa. But having said that, I will not stop working hard. I will always put in extra effort to make good impact to the society. Koopa, how I composed was like, it was during the peak of pandemic. And I was just having a glance at His Majesty's Koopa, which came out where everybody felt something. And what everybody felt, I think I put it down in words. And whenever I compose a song related to His Majesty, I always go to the Chosham. So I went to the Chosham, I just took my guitar, and then just looking at His Majesty's Koopa, it just took me 3 hours. 3 hours to compose the song. When it comes out spontaneously, and from the bottom of my heart, actually from the bottom of all 700,000 citizens, I feel. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's why it became so popular, that it resonated with so much, and you were really articulate in expressing that sentiment. When everybody got to see the Koopa, and everybody felt those feelings. However, you managed to pen them down and not just the words, but the tune, and it was just so beautifully done. It's one of my favorites, Tandin.
Thank you.
Now I must ask you, Tandin has done, how many films have you done now? Would you even have track of a number?
Approximately 25, 30.
Exactly. So 25 to 30 films. Which of the roles that you have played in all the 25 to 30 films that you've done so far would you say was the most difficult role to do? Which one needed a lot of hard work, a lot of thought processing, and maybe methods behind becoming that character? Which one was difficult?
Recently, difficult, right? Difficult. So, Due Sanja probably, because like I had to totally go out of my comfort zone, and I had to first of all trim my hair and then like look like an up, and then I'll have to put on a little bit of weight as well, and then I had to eat doma la. Well, I've never eaten doma up until that particular moment. First time I ate doma, I was feeling nauseous, and I was asking one of my managers, "Hey, is it all right that I'm feeling nauseous?" And he's like, "It's all right." And then I felt like, okay, something about human mind that like when somebody says that it's all right, then you feel all right. I think it's the outlandish nature and things that freaks us out. So I think Due Sanja.
Another beloved character actually in the country, right? Due Sanja.
It did really well.
So Tandi, you mentioned that for Gurumbuchi Keno, which is a movie that's coming out soon in theaters, you have written the script for it more.
Yes, like yes.
So this is not the first time you've written scripts.
No, I've written scripts in the past, but for Gurumbuchi Keno, it took me a long time to draft it. I wanted to be as meticulous as possible about how our human mind functions and what leads us to samsara and how one can be truly happy. Well, at least I tried.
Tandi, you have basically in all the fields that you've ventured, you have given your best, and a lot of the times you have managed to stay on the top more. There's always, they say there's always behind every successful man there's a woman. So let's talk about your support system at home.
Oh, women. Talking about women, first my mother. My mother, I'm very close to my mother, and we are like friends. And I think I got my spiritual innate nature from her, I believe. And we talk about, when we are together, we talk about mind, thoughts, feelings, and we talk about prostration and stuff like that. So my mother, I think she is the very reason behind the little that I've achieved. Of course, my dad as well. He's not as spiritual, but he is one of the kindest soul. So yeah, my dad as well. Talking about another woman, of course, my wife, your friend, Cho, and my wife, they're like very good friends. And my wife, I've been unofficially dating with my wife since I was in 3rd or 4th grade. So unofficially, we were dating for 20 years, I guess, and then we married. And she's one of the most supportive individuals in my life, and my sister as well, and all my sister-in-laws, and all the family members, like all the females. I'm like in my life, I'm very grateful to them.
Because I mean, it matters to have a
Sorry, my daughter, even though she wouldn't be offended, she's just 4 years old, but yeah, she makes me a better person.
And I think it's important to acknowledge the support system, whether you're a man or a woman. For you to be in the position that you are, you need to have that strong support system. And you have this really strong village, this tribe behind you, and you're lucky like that. Tandi, this will probably be my final question.
Alrighty.
When things don't go well for you, how do you deal with it? Let's say a relationship, professional relationship didn't go well, or one of your works, something that you poured your heart and soul into, didn't do well. What is the self-talk that goes within?
Thank you. I think that's a very important question. Thank you, Cho. Going back to the prior question, I'll have to give a shout out to my mother-in-law as well, and my father-in-law, and all my in-laws as well. Well, because for me, family is very important. Well, coming back to your current question, failure, how I deal with it. Well, failure in itself, I think, is empty. It's how we react to it that either drags us down or keep us afloat. Well, now when you're talking about reaction to a failure, we're talking about thoughts, as in like it's always the inner thing that dictates. And when you're talking about thoughts, well, there's an open sky, right? If you analyze properly, like when a bird is flying in the sky, in an open sky, it doesn't leave any trace behind. does it?
Yeah, no.
Nam tom na lo jichu fu juwa jin kanje mele ba da mo jla nam tom na. So ngacha success in ruda, failure in ruda, that should be the way me bala. Success in re, enjoy the moment, cherish it, but don't be attached to success. Even when it comes to failure la, it's all right. Time heals everything. Don't give too much of emphasis on failure, because just like the bird flies, it's like bird and this failure is same lah. It will leave no trace behind if we don't pay attention to it. But it's easier said than done. That's why we'll have to pursue mind training. That's why we'll have to be familiar with our thoughts. That's why you'll have to do prostrations. That's why, all the things that Lord Buddha meticulously have jotted down 2,500 years ago lah. So I think being the Buddhist country we are, if we pursue Buddhism in a most pure way, I think everybody will be happy.
Yes. I am going to ask you one last question again.
Okay.
Because this show is Storytellers of Drukyul, let's say if someone wrote a story about you, on you, a biopic, let's say, what would the title of the book or the film be?
Wow. Space?
Space. Why space?
Space because analogy given in the Buddhist text in Dzogchen and Mahamudra is space when you reach the ultimate. As in, to give an example, there is space between you and me. There is space. There is space within this cup. There is space here, there, everywhere. We're all within this space, right? You, me, table, phone, this house. We're all within this space. But the space is not at all perturbed or disturbed by us being in it. Right now, the space is totally okay with you and me within, you and me being within it. But when we leave this space, it doesn't complain that we are gone. You know, it's like a beautiful, beautiful balance, this space. I think the most happiest entity in the whole of universe is space, because it's never disturbed.
So that's the goal that you want to achieve by the end of your life?
Still an amateur when it comes to being a practitioner, but at the end of the day, not just for myself, I want everybody to have a taste of it.
I see. Well, thank you so much, Tandin. This was a beautiful chat. I always get to be inspired, and I always get to learn a lot about spirituality and our religion through you. And you're one person who live his words, and it's very inspiring. I also want to congratulate you for your film that's coming out. I hope that our viewers will go and watch it.
Guru Rinpoche Kano.
Yes, Guru Rinpoche
The film,
Kano.
ngachagi longin Guru Rinpoche Kano zemedi the ma trowa changji gi longin kanalu tendola. The end of this month, July end nalu, the kar ziba jana. Having said that, namisami, thank you so much to Cho, Diki, and the whole BVS team for having me lakadisha.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode of Storytellers of Drukyul. Sonam, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.